This daf dealing a lot with the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim, the visiting the sick, and all its consequences. So we are today on page 40, the last line on 39b. Rav Chelbo Chalash, Rav Chelbo turned ill, was one of the rabbis that Nafak Achriz Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana went out and announced. 40. Rav Chelbo Ba'ish, he announced, Rav Chelbo is sick. You see on our Shabbat page, right? Anybody knows the history of that? Why on our Shabbat page we have an announcement that anyone who is ill, please inform the rabbi. If you know of someone who's ill, please inform the rabbi. Guess what? There are people who are ill and say the rabbi never visit me. But how the rabbi knows if it's not published? You know, they have to publicize it, so we'll inform about it. Right? Yeah, I'm not a prophet yet. Yes, I need to get some. Anyway, lo ika dekaate. Nobody come and visit him. So Rav Kahana realized that they don't value the importance of visiting the sick. Amar lehu, he said to the sages, lo kach haya maaseh betalmid echad mitalmidei Rabbi Akiva shechala. Isn't that the true story for one of the students of Rabbi Akiva that turned ill? Lo nichnesu chachamim levakro, v'nichnas Rabbi Akiva levakro. The sages not went to visit him, so Rabbi Akiva went to visit him. So then he turned that the room, he saw that the room is so dirty, and this caused the ill person feel bad and make it worse, right? So then the Rosh said that he commanded that they should clean the floor, that they should clean the room, make it neat. ובשביל שכיבדו וריבצו לפניו, חיה, because they did all kind of cleaning in his room, open the windows, you know, cleaning the walls, doing what needs, then it's helping to return to his good health. Amar lo, the sick person said to Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi, hechiyetani. Rabbi, you bring back life to me. So he really now Rabbi Akiva realized that he basically caused a person that gave up hope, that saw despair, bring him back to life. It was even threat of death. So Yatzar Rabbi Akiva v'darash. Rabbi Akiva came out and he came to Beit Midrash and he said such a strong statement. Kol mi she'ein mevaker cholim ke'ilu shofech damim. One who's not visiting anyone who does not visit the ill, his door is splitting blood. Why? Because when you go there, you take care of the person's sick person needs. So if there's no visitor, so it's sometimes situation that cause people to pass. That's the Yosef said. So he said, Ki ata Ravdimi, Amar Ravdimi, when he came from west, from Israel to Babylon, he said, Kol ha'mevaker et hachole gorem lo shechia. Anyone who visits the ill person cause him to leave. V'chol she'eno mevaker et hachole gorem lo sheyamut. Not visiting the sick, he caused him to die. My grandma. What exactly the visitor caused the ill person to live or to die? Ilei ma kol ha'mevaker et hachole mevakesh alav rachamim sheyichyeh. If you tell me that by visiting the sick, it's one of his friends, so he asks God for mercy, for compassion for him, and he pray for him, he daven for him, right? וכל שאינו מבקר את החולה, מבקש עליו רחמים שימות. So if it's one of his adversaries, right, one of his enemies, so he prayed that he should die, right? שימות שר כדעתך. You mean to say that he should be so badly that pray that Marsha said that he should die? אלא כל שאין מבקר חולה, אין מבקש עליו רחמים. The one who's not visiting the sick, who's not pray for his better wealth, better health, like speedy recovery, lo sheyichyeh, he doesn't know his health condition, so in order to pray, velo sheyamut. So by not visiting and not praying, so he basically indirectly caused him to die. Because if, hypothetically speaking, if he went to visit him and then he prayed for him, and maybe it was a time for compassion, mercy from heaven, and his prayer will answer, and that sick person will feel better. So basically you hold accountability, you're responsible for his demise indirectly. So here we go further on the next step, which is a story, the damage and the good result when you publicize that someone is ill and needs help. Rava Yoma Kadma de Chalish, the minhag of Rava was when he turned ill, so the first day that he was sick, Amar Lehon, he said to the house, people in his house, Lo tegalu leinish, don't tell anybody I'm sick. Delo litra mazalei, that my mazal, that my constellation, whatever, it's not, the Meir explained that the visiting sick at the first day, it's cause him to have a fear, only when it's already permanent known that he is sick. It's also another interpretation. The Gemara in Moed Katan, page 18, said, Brit kruta lasfatayim, that we should be very careful of any utterance that come of our mouth. So therefore, in a simple language, imagine that you have a credit card from heaven that gives you X amount of words that you can express. So the moment you exceeded, then you're done. And with that measure of credit, you can use for proper. So if you remember, Gemarrah in Brachot, page 19, said, you should not open your mouth for Satan. You should not say something that can cause something. My Rebbe used to say that before we ordain, that we should be extremely careful for what we said, because it can happen and it's dangerous. So I think someone here told me that when you are, for example, in a very angry situation, don't try the email, wait 24 hours, right? Right? So here, you go right away, litra mazalei, the mazal caused the worst in the situation. Mikan, from the second day, va'elach, and onward, amar leo pokru v'achrizu b'shuka, go out and put it on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere, tell people that this is the situation, that the person is sick. They call the sanelei, that all those people who dislike me, right, and they hear that I'm sick, lechedeli, that they'll be happy that I'm ill. Uchtiv bin foloi vechal tismach. They said in Proverbs 24 that when your enemy is drowned, you should not be happy. Why? Because if that's happened and they are happy, guess what happened? My illness will remove and go to them. Udrachim li libaei alai rachamei, and those who like me, who care for me, so they love and they pray to God to have mercy upon me, and I'll be better. So either because of the happiness and gladness of the enemies, or because the prayer of my friends. Now elaborate on the rewards of the visiting the sick. אמר רב, כל המבקר את החולה, ניצול מדינה של גיהינום. Anyone who visits the ill person is spared from a judgment of Gehinom or hell. שנאמר, they said in the Tehillim in Psalm chapter 41, אשרי משכיל אל דל, happy is he that considers the poor, ביום רעה ימלטהו השם, in the day of evil, the Lord will help him, will deliver him. So how ein dal el achole? What does that mean? Dal, poor, mean a sick person. Shene'emar, because Isaiah 38 said, midala yevatzeni, that God cut me off from the illness. So iname, that's one of the prayer that was made for Chizkiyahu when he was sick. The story of Chizkiyahu, for those who are not familiar, was one of the kings whose name is Chizkiyahu, and he wasn't engaged of having children because he is a prophecy, and he prophesied that the that from his descendants will come a horrible king, horrible man. So when they went to visit him, the prophet went to visit him, he turned sick because Hashem was not happy with him. So he asked him, why are you not engaged with having children? So he said, I prophesied that I have a bad descendants. So he said, Behadein, the kavshe rachmana lamali, you don't have the God's business. How God planned to do things is none of your business. You do your job. You're obligated to do what you do. So here they speak about the period that he was sick. So during the time that he was sick, that was the prayer. Iname, another option, min hadein kra, from this line. This line in the book of Samuel chapter 13, Madua ata kacha dal ben hamelech. They said, why you are kacha dal ben hamelech? Baboker. This is the story of Amnon and Tamar. It was a half brother and sisters that he seduced his sister and raped her. And then they used that term. So here the same, here usually dal it's applied to money, but here it's a can apply to other things. Ein ra'a ela geinom, nothing called wicked, but gehinom. Shene'emar, because it's written kol pa'al Hashem lemaneu v'gam rasha leyom ra'a. That they said in Proverbs 16, the Lord made everything for his own purpose, and even the wicked for the day of evil. So the ultimate punishment of the evildoer is Gehinom. Ve'im biker mascharo, if you visit the sick, what is his reward? Again, we're talking reality that people sometimes expecting rewards. Even the Gemara said few places that the reward is not in this world. But anyway, they said here they used the afterlife. They said mascharo k'damar nitzol medina shel geinom. Ela mascharo ba'olam hazeh. What is the reward in this world? It said Hashem yishreu v'yichayeu v'ushar ba'aretz v'tneu b'nefesh oivav. So they said that God will preserve him and keep him alive, and let him be called happy in the land, and deliver not you unto he unto the greed of his enemies. So each word has a meaning. Hashem yishmereu miyetzer hara. God will protect him from the evil inclinations. So they said that it's like his iniquities been forgiven. Yetzer hara, evil inclination, v'yichayeu min ha'isurim, making alive from the suffering. It's like measure for measure, the same way that the visitor bring the sick person to alive and save him from suffering, so too it happens to him. It's like measure for measure. Now the other one is ve'ushar ba'aretz shiyu hakol mitkabdim bo. So it's, they said that happy in the land, which means that people honor him from their association with him. You know what happened when a person is not known, so people treat him like another person. All of a sudden someone became famous, everyone find a connection to that person. Somehow they're connected to him. Anyway, ve'al titneu b'nefesh oivav, and deliver not you him unto the greed of his enemies. So it means שיזדמנו לו רעים כנעמן שריפו את צררתו, that you have a companions like those who counsels Naaman to seek cure for his leprosy from Elisha. That's the second book of Kings, chapter 5. And they said, ואל יזדמנו לו רעים כרחובם שחיבקו אל מלכותו, and you will not have friends, associates, like the Rehovam who advised that resulted in the spread of the kingdom. and will not happen to associate with him. So since we talk about Rechavam and how his kingdom was split after he listened to the young advice, Tanya Rabbi Shimon ben Lazar Omer, when you ask a counsel from, that's good for several board members. Listen to this. יאמרו לך ילדים בני זקנים סתור שמע לזקנים. Right? If the young people said something that looked like building something that's good for you, and the elder said demolish it. So listen to the elder, not to the kids. שבניין ילדים סתירה, that building of kids, of someone who's new, fresh, is demolishing. סתירת זקנים, בניין. And the elders, demolishing is construction. And he said, וסימן לב דבר רחבעם בן שלמה. The story of Rechavam ben Shlomo, you are now one of those silver spoon kids. So he was the son of King Solomon, who was the wealthiest. And when he took his kingdom, he took advice. The elder came and said, don't raise taxes, right? Listen, it's good for Dr. Friedman to hear this story. So they said, good morning. So they said, don't raise taxes. So, we have issues with your father or this, leave it alone. So he listened to them. Then the young people came to the king and they said, what do you mean to listen to these old people? What do they know about? We are in a modern, how do you say, the modern technology. We have all these advances. Don't listen to them. So he said, and they advised him, and he said that my father was strong, I'll be even stronger with you. And as a result, it was a huge demonstration, and he lost his kingdom. It was a huge war, and it split the nation totally. So we derive from that demolishing of elderly is building, and building of a youth is demolishing. So when you have a choice to take advice between the young and the old, go by the counseling of the old. Continue later. It's a story about Reb Chaim Volozhin, that he built the unbelievable yeshiva, very successful, but then it was the Maskilim and others tried to change, and eventually they forced to close up the yeshiva. And people are very sad about it, but then they found out that it was Stirat Zkenim Binyan. Reb Chaim already set it up and planned that if that happened, it doesn't make any sense. So it looks like demolishing, but that was the building ideas. In general, we are now about to learn the hours of visiting sick. For sure, it's a general structure. We should know that each case is different. So the Gemara started with statement, Amar Rav Shisha ברד רב אידי, לא יסעוד איניש קצירה, לא בתלת שעה קדמייתא, ולא בתלת שעה בתרייתא דיומא, כי הרד לא לסר דעתי מן רחמי. So the time to visit, not too early in the morning, not too late in the evening, but the middle of the day, so he can pray properly, ask for compassion properly for the ill person. There are many, many stories of people that pray and pray healed. We are the people who believe in the power of the theurgy, the power of our prayer. When the late Satmar Rebbe built the Bikur Cholim, it was an unbelievable great institution. He promised that people who help and people get involved will be saved from sickness. But the idea is that we are in this world to help each other, and by praying we believe it makes a difference. But yet the time of visit, as much as is important, has to be in the seichel, in the proper management of time. Tlat shaya kadmaita ravcha da'atei. The first 3 hours of the day, he feels better. Usually in the morning, it's easier. The Gemara in Bava Batra, page 16b, said that the visitor may think that the sick person is already healed and there's no need to pray for him. Sometimes you have those feelings, right? You make a mishabech, you make prayer. Anyway, Batraita takif chulshei. The last 3 hours of the day, he is very weak. The end of the day, the sickness strength on him, and he feel that it's worthless. As you know, sometimes it's these type of feelings. People ask, should we continue the name on a Mishabach list for this person? It's like the feeling that it's total despair, that there's no hope. That's the way the Ran explained. The Rambam, however, said in Ilchot Avelut, chapter 14, he said, at that time, early in the morning, late in the evening, the family members of the family usually taking care of the sick person. The Kesef Mishnah asks, so why the Rambam not mention the reason we just mentioned here in the Gemarrah. He said that maybe he doesn't have this girsa, anyway. Amar Ravin. Here we're dealing a little bit with a mystical or spiritual aspect of the privileges and merits for visiting the sick people. Amar Ravin Amar Rav, minayin she'akadosh baruch hu zan et hacholeh. How do you know that God is the one who himself sustained the sick person? Meaning he gives him the right blood circulation and hits, and it's like heavenly fire. Shene'emar, because David HaMelech, King David said in Psalm 41, Hashem yis'adenu al eres devai. They said that God will support him upon the bed of suffering. That's his indication that God is actually over his head. So the Etz Yosef explained that like the divine providence is the shadow, the shadow upon his head to support him. ואמר רבין אמר רב, מניין שהשכינה שרויה למעלה מיטתו של חולה. How do you know that divine providence is above the bed of the sick person? שנאמר, השם יסעדנו על ערש דווי. The Lord will support him upon the bed of suffering. So it's incongruous for one to sit above the place where the divine providence rests. The Shulchan Aruch specified all the details, where and how person should visit the sick sit. תניא למאח הנכנס לבקר את החולה לא יישב לא על גבי מיטה ולא על גבי ספסל ולא על גבי כיסא, אלא מתעטף ויושב על גבי קרקע, מפני שהשכינה שרויה למעלה ממיטתו של החולה, שנאמר השם יזלם על ערש דווי. So the idea is the place you should not sit, it should not on his bed, right? It has to be a certain way. For sure it was those days versus our days, but the concept is the same concept. The Meiri explained that when the sick person start thinking teshuvah, think all is hard, and he sees this visitor sitting in a low place, that may raise his heart to shuvah. Anyway, ואמר רבין אמר רב, מיתרה במערבה, that's just Meimra Nosefet from another Meimra from Ravin. That he said, Mitra b'ma'arava, said when you see a rain on the Eretz Israel, which is the west of Babylon, Sahada Rabba Prat. So the Euphrates river, it's have a rainwater increase at that time. So the increase, because Euphorian is like sure that it's come from Israel. The truth is there is a application to Hilchot Mikveh that the Neder cannot go and purify herself in that water, because it's not zochalim, the water are not moving. Only if there are spring original water, and the snow water or things like that, they purified only when they are standing. But the Ashboren, as we learn in Mikveot chapter 5, and it's different. Anyway, the source is Ach Ma'ayan Vavo, so that's the source for that. Anyway, Upliga de Shmuel Damar Shmuel Nahara Mikeifei Mitbarech. Shmuel said that the river is blessed from its banks, which means the increase in its water flow is attribute to the rain. So when you see sudden, that's the Targum Yonatan said in Shoftim, in Judges chapter 15, he says that when you see an increase of water and you don't see a reason for that, you look at the river, see a huge increase of water, you are dealing with the water, so you know how it is. You assume that those spring water that come out of the rock is the cause. Now, according to this, Rav that hold the increase of the Euphrates River, it's depend upon the water from there. It's the opposite of Shmuel, the Pliga de Shmuel, Ad Shmuel. So the Amar Shmuel, En hamayim metarim bezochalim. He said the water purifies when flowing, which means those rivers is purified not when they are moving and flowing. Page 40b, Ela prat biyomei tishrei bilvad, but only Euphrates River only during the days of Tishrei alone, because it's following the summer time, all this there's no rainfalls, so you see clearly that the water of a river flows from the source of the river, because you see in the year you see the snow mingles with the river water, and the water from the rain and snow purified one who immerses in them only when the waters is standing. So this halacha match the view of Rav and contradicted the first halacha of Shmuel, that the river has its own source from its own. So this is a story. Avua de Shmuel, Shmuel's father, avad lehon mikvaot livnatei. He fashioned mikvaot, a ritual bath, for his daughters Biyomei Nisan, during the days of month of Nisan, to purify for their ritual bath. He doesn't let them go and duck in the river, because that was the end of the raining season and beginning of the melting of the snow, and therefore the water is much more than the flowing rivers. Umapatzei biyomei Tishrei. But he made mats in the Euphrates River during the days of Tishrei. So he did it during Nisan, the ritual bath, the mikveh, because it was concerned that the rainwater and snow water, they accumulate in the river, exceeded the amount of water that originated in the river's source. Immersion in flowing water will be effective, right? He fashioned ritual bath of standing water elsewhere for them. So he basically placed mats during the days of Tishrei, when they immersed in the river itself, to prevent the mud of the river bed from acting as an interposition that invalidates the immersion. And you see from here that even a father of Shmuel hold that only the days of Tishrei you can use those rivers, and that's basically the second view of Shmuel, But the Rambam in Ilchot Mikvaot chapter 9 have a different view why he did it. Let me share with you just some of this vignette of this Rambam. Ilchot Mikvaot chapter 1. A woman shall not immerse in a port. The concern is that due to the embarrassment involved in immersion in the presence of the passerby, she will not immerse properly. However, if an enclosure of mats is constructed to ensure her privacy, is permitted. This halakha is based on one interpretation of the incidents involving mats. A woman shall not immerse in a place with mud on lechatchila, on the floor, chatchila, unless branches of mat or mats are not susceptible to ritual impurity are placed there, as otherwise the mud will act as an interposition. Some say that not only is it prohibited to immerse in a place with a muddy floor, but the immersion is invalid when even after the fact. That's the Ravid. However, most commentaries rule that it is effective after the fact, b'diavad. So, but the Rambam said further that if the amount of the river, the rainwater in the river or spring exceeds that of a river or spring water, the water purifies only when pooled, not while flowing. So therefore, it was necessary to use mats to construct an enclosure in it, which was necessary to ensure the mat to construct that proper immersion. And furthermore, that you see in the Rambam and the Tur and Rabbeinu Hananel.
Shuloim, Malachai, Shuloim, Malachai.